Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living by the Law, the podcast discussing fictional worlds and how wondrous and ridiculous they are. My name is Matt, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Jude and Guy. Living by the Law is not currently sponsored. If you'd wish to sponsor us, start an ant colony in your home. Shepherd your ants through life, protect and nurture them. Send them to us, and let them spell out their sponsorship offer in their trails. We will hear you. We always do.
A galaxy of war, technologically advanced aliens, and mindless zombies pushes humanity to the brink. How will our descendants survive? And did we already get wiped out? Find out today as we dive into the history of the Halo universe. This episode contains minor spoilers for all Halo games and books.
So I've been moving lately.
Like to move it?
Yeah, I've been moving it.
Do you like to move it?
I'm going to Madagascar.
Holy shit.
No. Sadly, I'm here. I've been moving a house recently.
Moving our house.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Brick by brick.
And
It
boy,
is-
are my arms tired.
Looking at a lot of different places, there has just got me thinking, where would you want to live? In any fictional world, where would you want to live? Pick like a regular house in somewhere.
Does it have to be a regular house in a regular place that normal people could access, or is this just open?
I mean, where would you want to live that's like reasonable? Like if you don't want to live in the middle of the woods, you know what I mean?
I mean, there's the Realms of D&D episode, I talk specifically about a bunch of various versions of heaven, so like most of those would be pretty high on the list.
That's fair.
In terms of normal livable places,
I mean, standard, safe, and just correct answer. The Shire.
nice.
Ooh, good
nice.
one. Yes,
nice.
good real estate. Good real estate.
Beautiful rolling fields, beautiful rivers. Everyone is happy all the time. Everyone has got their priorities right. They just want to have time to eat, drink, and have fun with friends.
Aren't they
And
also
if you-
like a bit like, what's the word? Xenophobic, I think, in the Shire. They
How
really
racist these hobbits.
They really conservative. They hate anyone who comes in and
It's
anyone who does
no-
anything out of the ordinary. Isn't that a whole thing about Bilbo being weird? He doesn't
No,
want-
it's not that they hate outsiders. It's that they don't want outsiders to take them away, is the big thing.
I'm pretty sure, like, I read like a thing about how hobbits are actually like really like not amazing just because they want everything their one way, and if you do anything outside of that one way they've defined over years,
I mean, they're traditionalist, yes.
yeah,
But they're only traditionalists because they're written by a traditionalist Catholic.
that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
They are, in a sense, the Catholic dream in that. Does that kind of make sense? Of just like complete family life, relaxation.
Do the hobbits worship Jesus Christ?
Fuck no. Fuck no. That's my answer. Guy, you're any of the heavens?
Yeah, I mean, any extra planar, any of the heavens would do.
Yeah.
I'd say actual place that is accessible. I think there's an argument. I think there's an argument in there for Hogsmeade. Would be really cool. You're adjacent enough to Hogwarts that you get like the cool magic stuff coming through. You get butterbeer, you get some wizards, but also you're not in the firing line necessarily.
This is
I'm
true.
fairly sure Hogsmeade was okay during the siege of Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's pretty much entirely taken over by Death
It was
Eaters.
it
It
was
but
like
they're just taking over on the way to a place. It's not like they were coming for me.
no,
But
because
they
remember
teased
they-
it for the whole year because
Yeah,
they
it was
want.
on-
They
it was
thought
like
Harry
lockdown.
might come there.
Okay, then I'll be complicit with the Death Eaters, I guess. Whatever.
He's got a point. Other answer as well would probably be somewhere really cool one that I can't talk loads about because it'd be too big of a conversation, I guess. But the base of the Knights Radiant in Stormlight Archives, Urithiru, it is like this top of the mountains. There's this colossally big tower that's like, by the time it gets fully activated, is like a living tower with like a sentience that runs it. And they've got like because of the magic system of the world and like the way that the Spren work the tower, they've effectively got things like electric lifts working in the building. They've got like heated water for showers and stuff. They've got like heating for rooms. They've got aircon for rooms, but it's just done through magic.
Everywhere I come up with in my head, there's like an asterisk of like house moving castle, asterisk, while Hal isn't having a breakdown.
Yeah.
Cool the fuck place. Portals to different areas, walks around, hot water, aesthetics on point, Calcifer, what a G, make some bacon for me, boy. But also, it's not the best place sometimes. Same with Hogsmeade, as pointed out. Same with most other places.
Well, talking about not the best places, today we're diving into someone that's really not great.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Great opener.
Today, we are beginning our dive into the rich and sprawling world of Halo.
Ooh.
One of the most iconic sci-fi franchises ever.
I was literally about to mention I wanted to live on one of the Halos.
I was gonna
really?
say, pause. Matt, what's your place?
I wanted to live on one of the Halos. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
Halo. I'm pretty sure. I think it's like in one of the later Halo games. The people like the whole city in one of those Halos, right? Yeah. That one
no.
is sick.
There's a name for this. I mentioned it in one of my episodes. Continue. Don't worry.
Okay.
Or like have you seen Interstellar?
Yeah.
You know where they play that baseball game that's kind of like on the ceiling because of how the gravity works there? That's kind of sick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just for the
mentioned
vibe.
this in one of my episodes just recently. Fuck you guys. Keep going. I will
anyway,
mention.
dude,
I'll come out of nowhere in 5 minutes and tell you.
What's Halo, dude?
Spanning hundreds of thousands of years, the Halo universe is filled with ancient alien empires, devastating wars, and, of course, the legendary Master Chief.
Master Chief. It was from Sonic. Fuck me.
Nice. Oh, the
The space station that they were on.
Yeah.
Continue. Don't worry.
So, just a little bit of background before we dive into the focus of today's episode. Halo is one of, if not the biggest FPS sci-fi action series of all time. I'm not sure I'd really want to go on record saying it is the biggest, but I think there could be an argument to be made. I don't know enough about the genre, specifically like from a sci-fi FPS point of view.
Okay, yeah.
It began in 2001 with Halo Combat Evolved, which was developed by Bungie and published by Microsoft. It was met with raving reviews, critical success, as it did some brand new things to the genre. I'm not even kidding you, like going outside.
Nice.
I genuinely was researching for this, trying to go, what made Halo so popular and successful when it came out? And the big thing that blew people's minds and had them like cheering at like the first trailer release was literally because the games that came before this were things like Doom and that sort of shit, where it was this like it was one step away from basically a dungeon crawl. Like you're going through tight, compact, dark places, and then all of a sudden you see the trailer for Halo being released and they show the start, which was like you on the spaceship, and then all of a sudden the camera pans and you're in this like beautiful foresty region that's just open, bright, expansive, really beautiful for its time.
Makes
and
you
that
feel
was,
like a real world.
Yeah, exactly. And that was like one of the really big things that made it so like phenomenally big when it first came out. Also, fun fact, it was meant to be released as a Mac thing.
Nice.
Steve Jobs presented one of the original trailers at one of the conventions that Apple had, and then it went to Xbox.
I was gonna say it's like a really it's an icon of Microsoft now.
Yep,
that's really interesting.
Funny, right?
As gaming boy, I will say Halo releasing on the Xbox was akin to Tetris releasing on the Game Boy. Like it was a platform-defining game.
It was.
Absolutely goated game. Second point, technically not one of the first games to go outside, but also I just had a look. Half-Life 1 came out 3 years before it. The outside portions of that are terrible skyboxes, you fenced into a yard and seeing like 10 square meters of sky. So having like fully rendered outside skyboxes and stuff as Combat Evolved does, totally revolutionary,
100%,
insane.
100%. And that was the big thing that made it like wild. Anyway, I'm going to have it just made me really laugh when I was looking on a Reddit going, someone had asked on Reddit like 6 years ago, what was it that made Halo so popular? And some dude that's like a top Redditor just went, oh boy, where to start? And was like, in this essay, I will explain. And then one of the top dot points was, they went outside.
Going outside.
I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Anyway, I'm going to have a solid crack at doing a few episodes on Halo. At least 3, maybe 4 episodes from me on Halo because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. We'll see. Today, we're going to start off. All I'm going to commit to for this episode is a brief timeline of the universe to give you some context. A brief timeline. And then, if we get time, we will talk a bit about the humans. Woo, humanity. Then over the next few episodes, we'll dive into some of these aliens and more thoroughly, and which ones Matt can fuck, which ones Guy can get fucked by. You know,
Excellent.
sorry. So,
Wait, guys, we've worked hard to establish these roles. We got to.
this is true, and I'm in the cuck chair.
Yes.
Is that?
Jude's watching with a notebook.
Yeah, I think the way that we've come as a podcast, that's it.
The way
Fuck.
that we've come as a podcast. We come together, boys.
Honestly, I'm happy with my role.
No,
Yeah.
Jude's off with the hobbits with Gandalf.
Yeah, I am.
Partying.
Yep.
Those little
So
grunts, though, you know? Those little grunts.
let's kick things off with the very beginning, the precursor era.
No mice.
No ice.
In the beginning, there was a big bang.
Who wants to do the first quote?
Ooh, me. Pick me.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt,
give it
you
to
can do this one.
I didn't have any quotes in my last episode, so
Give us something ancient, otherworldly, eldritch.
Okay. We are the last of those who gave you breath and form millions of years ago.
millions.
We are the last of those your kind defied and ruthlessly destroyed.
Destroyed.
We are the last precursors, and now we are Legion.
So,
The Marvel character Legion?
Legion.
yeah. So
Lenovo Legion, the monitors. Sorry, I work in a hardware shop. It's the only thing I could go with. Continue. I apologize.
Lenovo Legion. So the precursor era.
It's not even a monitor. It's a fucking laptop. I'm so sorry. Continue.
The precursor era is effectively the prologue to the entire Halo story. It is, in this universe, the creation tale, if you will.
yeah.
It stretches back to, as close as I can get to Earth years, 200,000 BCE.
Okay.
200,000. Okay. I mean, honestly, that's not that old.
And, well, that is like the end of the precursor era.
I see.
So they're around for everything before that. So they are like, their entire growth as a species is ranging over like millions of years before any kind of known tracked history by human standards or imagination. And
But Christ is in this universe, and it's 200,000 years before Christ.
yes,
Excellent.
I mean, I before Common Era.
Ah.
Please, up to date historical terms here. Common Era and before Common Era, and focuses on the precursors, the name of this era, and they are an ancient alien species with technology so advanced they were practically seen as gods by the galaxy, and they kind of were. They spread their influence across the stars, literally seeding life and civilizations as they went. Some of these races they created were humans. Some were another group called the Forerunners, and all other various aliens in between, which we will see throughout this miniseries. They would also encounter a terrifying race called the Flood.
Ooh.
I'm going to put an asterisk here because for me to say in the timeline the precursors encountered the Flood is a gross oversimplification to anyone that knows Halo, but we're going to have a whole episode to focus on the Flood. So we're going to just touch super loosely on them now, and we'll dive into them more later.
But one important thing is they didn't create the Flood. They just stumbled upon them.
Asterisks.
Oh.
Okay.
Asterisks. I'm going to use the word encounter for the time being.
They encountered them like I encountered the bananas I bought a week ago on my kitchen counter.
Did they call themselves the precursors? Or was that just what humanity calls them and they're like, this is what you think we are?
They are given this name by the next group we'll talk about, the Forerunners.
I see. So I was just thinking, imagine calling yourself the precursors.
Yeah,
right?
I know, right?
I think that it would be quite funny for us to do that because we haven't found alien life yet. That's kind of funny. We are the ancient ones.
I'll
We
keep-
are the ancient ones.
So, the Flood.
Yes.
Anyone that has played the first Halo game, or probably any Halo games, but particularly the first one, will be very, 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 very familiar with the Flood. They are gross little gremlin, Cthulhu-y squid boys and little creatures and rippery things that just kind of explode in biomass when you kill them, and they're zombie-like and stuff. But to give them a proper definition, they are a parasitic organism, unlike anything else in the galaxy. One group of aliens in this world gives them the Latin name Inferi Redivisi, which translates to the dead reincarnated, and then other aliens call them the parasite or simply the infection. So everyone's terrified of them. They're one of the forces of utter annihilation in this universe. Just one of the things that we see regularly occurring. Whoever rises to the top of the intergalactic food chain comes into contact with the Flood.
Comes into
seems
contact?
Seems to be similar with then. What's it called? The Last of Us. The kind of the fungi infection.
Very Last of Us like.
Yeah.
Give me a sec. I'm working on it.
That's okay.
Okay. I will be real. I've played Halo. Haven't seen these guys.
Oh, interesting.
I only got through the first episode of the thing, and there's a bunch of grunts running at you, and that I couldn't get past that.
That's fair.
Because I played when I was 11.
That's fair. So the question: what makes the Flood so horrifying, and why is everyone scared of them, and why are they so terrifying to beat? And that is because they are not a single entity. It is a species of highly virulent parasites, and these organisms reproduce and grow by consuming sentient life forms with enough biomass and cognitive ability. That's a fancy way of saying the smarter and bigger you are, the more dangerous the Flood becomes when it eats you. Because they use you to make parasitic versions of themselves and to break you down and turn you into more of them.
It's that's not bad. That means if we become parasitic Floods, we'll be useless.
We'll be fine. Yeah, exactly.
The world will be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of biomass in me.
There is a lot of that. That's fair. Matt's got a lot of
Ass.
Nice. Nice. Continue. Joke complete.
I was going to try and find a way to make a fart joke, but then
Just
biogas.
Biogas.
It's good.
Biogas is right there too. Yeah.
And they are very much a hive mind sort of creature. They don't have a lot of individuality to them. They're just kind of they're just parasites. Is the simplest way I can put it.
Yeah. How do they have much intelligence at all?
Not that we see.
Yeah. They're just must feed, must grow, must make infect.
Very primal, very instinctive driven. We do see small little snippets of their what they were before becoming Flood come through sometimes. So in the first game, for example, if you're fighting a Flood that was an infected human, one of the Marines, you might see that infected Marine still holding a shotgun. They have really bad accuracy, but they can still shoot you with the shotgun, and sometimes they will just kill you with a shotgun.
They got that. They got
They
some
aren't
of
just
that lingering brain. And
Yeah, so they aren't complete mindless zombies, which is kind of what makes them terrifying, because they'll come at you in hordes, but also some of them will be shooting guns loosely, some of them will be sneaking around.
Okay. Interesting.
And then some of them are tougher aliens that run at you and hit you hard. So they're pretty spooky.
Dangerous through diversity.
Yes. So the precursors come into contact with the Flood.
Yes.
In theory, a big smart race like the precursors should have been perfect. But the precursors were so far advanced and had far too advanced weaponry. So they're able to use their insane technology to utterly annihilate the constant and all-powerful threat in the galaxy, and basically devoted themselves to keeping the Flood at bay.
Okay.
This meant that other races were able to, people that were seen as the children of the precursors to some extent, because they're ones they went out there and seeded and created and gave life to, they're able to flourish for a time. And they're able to build themselves up and become to nearly as good level of technology as the precursors in some instances. One of them in particular is the Forerunners, who, while the precursors are slowly wearing themselves down fighting the Flood and devoting all of their resources there, the Forerunners were able to grow stronger and stronger. And then, finally, when the Flood were seemingly defeated, the precursors' forces were very, very worse for wear. The Forerunners turned on them and wiped them out over the course of 200 years.
My child.
They wiped out the precursors?
They wiped out the precursors.
Rough.
Question with the precursors and the flood.
Yep.
You say they were holding them at bay. Was it a matter of they were coming from a place, or were they just defending their sort of sphere with the creatures in it?
I will asterisk the flood questions a little bit for now to expand on properly later. They're not specifically coming from a source.
Excellent.
So they're just kind of like a parasite that appears.
Keep you on your toes.
Oh, the precursors are horrible too.
Yep. We'll talk about them. Yeah.
Okay.
Judging a book by its cover?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep. So with the precursors gone, the stage was set for the next era, the Forerunner era. First thing you're going to do here, Matt, could you go onto Google for me, and could you type in Halo Forerunner,
Got it?
and could you describe what a Forerunner looks like for me?
Okay. So there's one wearing armor, and there's ones where they're not wearing armor, I think. So they're kind of like humans. They're humanoid in shape.
Mm-hmm.
This one, they seem to be like, how do I describe it? It's like fish people, kind of snake people. Honestly, it's Voldemort. It's kind of like Voldemort. They look like they have like, their skin looks like wet, like a frog. And it's like either grey or bluish and teal. And other than that, they have very human features, other than their nose is just not there and they have two slits.
Yeah, interesting.
Very Voldemort-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
They look less sick than Voldemort, though.
Guy, you're going to get this chungus of a quote.
Ooh. I love a thick quote.
You can give us something very elitist and superior.
Sort of smug with it.
Yes, of course.
We are the Forerunner. Oh, we are Forerunners, guardians of all that exists. The roots of the galaxy have grown deep under our careful tending. Where there is life, the wisdom of our countless generations has saturated the soil. Our strength is a luminous sun towards which all intelligence blossoms, and the impervious shelter beneath which it has prospered.
So
I don't like these guys.
So the Forerunners
Did a good job with my voice acting.
are
Smug.
you could argue that they're pretty smug.
You could argue?
Dude, they definitely
From-
changed their name to the Forerunners when they realized they're going to be...
The precursors were named by the Forerunners. The Forerunners named themselves.
They changed their name to the Forerunners. We're like, we are Forerunners before everyone else.
So everything that we know about the precursors, soft asterisks, pretty much everything that we know about the precursors comes from information passed down from the Forerunners. The precursors are this ancient entity that we have no idea of. The Forerunners are a group that in the games we live in the shadow of.
Okay.
So that's why they are called the precursors, because the Forerunners thought of them as the precursors to them.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a little bit more now, though. So from 200,000 BCE to 50,000 BCE, the Forerunners completely ruled the galaxy. They believed they were its rightful caretakers under something they called the Mantle of Responsibility, which is a duty they kind of invented for themselves. This duty, they thought the precursors had passed down to them as natural progression.
Okay.
The Mantle of Responsibility, in their eyes, is basically saying the most advanced race in the universe in the galaxy, we're just galaxy-wide, the most advanced race in the galaxy has the responsibility to look after, caretake, shelter, and nurture everyone else. It is a very god-complexy way of looking at yourself, basically.
Yeah.
I mean,
They kind of are gods, too.
they killed the creator of all life in the universe.
Yep.
Like, they're not wrong. It's just the attitude is yuck.
Yep. And
You're right. I
they-
just wish you were less smug about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
It's-
imagine offering help, it's like being really smug about your help.
Literally. It's like
fuck off.
I
this point, I
prefer
need it.
I prefer you saying this than going the other way and going, we are the advanced, therefore we're tyrants and we're going to rule you all. I prefer this to that, but this still doesn't feel great.
Yeah, this
you know?
still isn't the best form of this.
Yeah.
You should be able to rise above what you're doing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
But they see it as a very important and prestigious honor that the precursors passed down to them, rather than it just being something that they've invented. That's kind of where the idea of the precursors coming from. And that does also to a large extent, why they see themselves as the Forerunners, because they think that they don't believe they are the final evolution of this. They think that they're the Forerunners of something else that's going to come.
Okay.
However, the Forerunners were not the only one of the Precursors' children that was growing and expanding. At this point in history, humanity was expanding
Let's
all
go
across
humans.
the galaxy at the same time.
Let's go, humans.
Humans.
Yes. And the Forerunners didn't take kindly to it.
Oh. Is that your whole fucking
You
thing?
named yourself the Forerunners.
You're supposed to care for these fuckers. What are you doing?
They assumed humans were spreading out of greed. So they crushed humanity in a war, stripping them of all their technology, destroying all of their intergalactic colonies, and forcing them back to Earth, basically wiping them back to the Stone Age.
I mean, they're probably not wrong. Still, that's fucked up.
We are the precursors to another more advanced race, but only if you do it the right way.
What year is this?
This is 50,000 BCE.
You said humanity was spreading out to the stars?
Yeah.
What?
Where we just got knocked back to the Stone Ages.
Have you not seen all the pyramids around the planet that are built the same? Those motherfuckers
Wait,
would
you
go to
fucking
space.
telling me that all the conspiracy fucks in our world are right in the Halo universe?
It certainly seems that way.
Fuck off. That's fuck.
Wait.
What the Forerunners didn't realize, humanity wasn't spreading out of greed. They were trying to escape the flood, which in the absence of the Precursors had come back and were threatening everything, starting with humanity.
Had the fucking Forerunners not realized the job the other guys were doing? This is like new management coming in and being like, we don't need this department. It's like, whoa, they were running.
Why did you get rid of IT support?
What are you talking about? Yeah, everything's fixed because they did their job.
Wait, why are my computers not working?
Yeah. However, the Forerunners rose to the challenge, and they didn't do very well.
Nice.
Of course
What
they
followed was a 300-year war between the Forerunners and the Flood. The Forerunners threw every bit of advanced weaponry at the parasitic threat, but nothing worked.
Dude,
and they were losing
they
planet
probably
after planet.
It's probably spread out of control the last thousands of years. It's like a garden. If you don't weed it every now and then, that's what the other guys are doing.
Yep.
It grows out of control. And now you have to handle the whole fucking thing at once.
Suddenly that mantle of responsibility feels heavy, huh?
Fucking these guys.
They already
man.
killed the last guys. They can't do much about that now.
Yep. Realizing they were in
Deep shit.
they made a desperate decision. They built the Halo Array.
That's the name of the game.
Roll credits. Cinema.
So fucking.
Cinema. It is. It's cinema. They say the name of the movie and then the movie ends. That's cinema.
That is cinema.
That's how you get an Oscar.
So, where's our Oscar?
Where's our Oscar?
If you want to support our podcast, nominate us for the Oscars.
If we can nominate it. Oh,
No.
yes, please.
The Halo Array was a series of massive ring worlds designed to wipe out all life in the galaxy, starving the Flood of its food source.
Yeah.
Desperate decisions, right? Weapon of ultimate mass destruction. These are massive rings, basically covered in what would appear to be a natural living world on its surface. So you've got like the metallic ring around the outside, and the inside of the ring is just landscape. There's tundras, there's forests, there's oceans, animals. Wonderful. However,
And my house. My house is on there.
Matt's house? Oh, that's great, because they're science facilities. Basically, the reason they made them so nice and luxurious was to use them for scientific testing on the animals and people that live there.
No.
Including testing on the Flood. And one of the reasons they initially made it so inhabitable on these rings was so they had test subjects to see if they could then expand the power out and if it would actually destroy life.
Can I say some stuff? Mm-hmm. How does the Flood get from planet to planet?
I believe they use other species ships after hijacking
And they
them.
can fly them well enough to crash land on another planet, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good work.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, well done, Flood. That's pretty good. So there's a bunch of and life must be really popular. Like really, there must not be like in this universe. I guess what the precursors did, they fled a lot of life. They seed a lot. There must be a lot of life and a lot of non-intelligent life. I guess that's.
I mean, asterisk, do you think that the pilots are all manually flying their ships between things? It's probably just hitting a autopilot button and then it jumps to hyperspace to the next planet.
That's fair, I guess. I just think like Also, the precursors kind of caused this by seeding too much life in the universe because the flood uses that life as fuel.
It's their fault?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
Well, they were doing a good job of keeping it at bay.
you're feeding it. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, they were doing a good job. They just had like a really. It's like if you create an environment that mold is really good at growing in, but then you are keeping it back. And then if you go on holiday, the mold's going to grow really well.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Except they didn't go on holiday. They got killed.
This is like if the ants in your lounge room killed you and then got annoyed when the mold wasn't stopping growing.
Exactly.
And then the ants build a bomb inside your house. Hey, they
metaphor's
destroyed
falling apart.
they destroyed the mold.
It's falling apart at the seams.
What do you mean? It's perfect. So that was their only way they could think of and reason to destroy the flood, was to wipe out life in the galaxy, and that would remove their food
The
source.
entire galaxy.
Yeah. The whole Milky Way galaxy, life removed.
Seems a bit extreme.
Starve out the flood. That was
Anyone's
the
going to
only...
survive that. It's going to be the flood.
Well, here's the thing. They didn't want to be the ones that erased existence, so they had a couple of things that could be protected from the Halo array. They created a couple of arcs, which took in species of the galaxy to keep them preserved.
2x2.
Fucking Noah.
Very Noah's Ark, yep. And they, of course, as well, had a few of their worlds which could be shielded in such a way to protect them from the Halo array.
Why wasn't every world shielded that didn't have the flood on it?
Because they don't know which ones don't have the flood on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that's fair.
Yep. So that was their solution.
Sorry. Just back to the fucking metaphor. The ants are like, whoa, it's fine though. The kitchen will be intact.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, the rest of the house is gone though.
Yep.
Neil's like, yeah, well, no more mold. It's like, yeah, no more house either.
An interesting little tidbit here, because I thought it was quite interesting while I was having a read and preparing this episode. The way that the Halo array fired, heavy asterisks might talk about the Halo array in a little bit more detail when we're not doing a timeline episode. They basically targeted the what's the word? The neural systems of all living creatures and just basically blacklined it.
Brain EMP.
Basically.
Nice.
It's basically firing a big brain EMP throughout the whole galaxy.
What's wrong with it, Matt?
It would take so long.
So long.
Well, they have full count at like a maximum capacity. I believe there was 24 to 25 rings, and they spread them all across the galaxy.
And they activate them all at the same time.
Yeah.
It still take a long time. The galaxy is a fucking huge place.
Yeah, but faster than light travel and
so
science.
this brain EMP can go faster than light?
Yep.
the
How?
fucking ships can.
A physical object going faster than light is different to like a energy wave.
How? All objects are made of energy.
No, that's no.
E equals MC squared, baby.
Okay, it's different. Nothing go fast. I guess nothing can go faster than light, so I guess it's fucking...
So then it's all hypothetical.
anyway.
So we've already got
You-
physical objects going faster than light, and humans.
You're gonna tell me the science in this over 20-year-old game from the weird fish aliens that are technologically advanced is wrong?
we
It's
were
crazy,
okay.
dude.
We were okay until now, okay? I can accept them things. And then...
The other very smart thing that they did, of course,
Big smart.
the testing facilities for the Halo stations. Obviously, there were some flood specimens kept frozen on those testing facilities.
Oh,
of course.
fucking-
You gotta keep
why?
samples.
Of course, yeah.
Why? You fucking idiots. So they fired this weapon.
The Forerunners fired the Halo.
Nice.
Holy shit.
We get to
Holy shit.
Don't get too excited, man. We're getting there.
And their idea, after
Humanity was
preserving
wiped out.
many species on arcs, which would then redeploy and like reseed the worlds with these specimens they'd saved, they would ensure that life could start again. Their sacrifice marked the end of their era and the beginning of something new.
I wonder if it would have also fucked with a bunch of mushrooms. Because there's a bunch of mushrooms that have like mycelial networks that are similar to like have electrical signals. I wonder
Yeah.
if the mushrooms would freak out. Hey, it's all part of the ecosystem. I know we're nuking all the intelligent life, but
No,
I'm thinking about the mushrooms.
All life is gone.
yeah.
Well, but tree no need electrical signal like brain. So tree fine.
No, treacle.
Okay. And then their bug that's smaller than Electrowave. He'll be fine.
I'm sure they... Yeah, you mean like tardigrades?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's not... Yeah, I guess that would be fine.
Still got tardigrades?
Matt? Yes? I was going to say this next quote is for you.
Okay,
As we go into the next era, the rise of the Covenant.
Just tell me one thing.
Yep.
the humans they put back on Earth were not called Adam and Eve, were they?
No asterisks. We don't.
We
The
don't
implication. What I will say before moving on to the Covenant era, the implication is that. So the wave of the Halo array, like, brain EMP'd everyone.
Nice.
But it didn't dispose of the bodies. So one of the things that they did, supposedly afterwards, they went to this now dead galaxy and spread into atmospheres a chemical that would, like, break down any life form that was affected.
Okay, now everything's gone.
That was affected by the Halo EMPs.
Honestly, that makes more sense.
So
Hey,
bear with me. This is just what I've read online. Just bear with me. I'm not an expert in Halo. Bear with me.
No, continue.
Bear with me. You know that old meme where it's like,
no.
don't worry.
Give us answers,
That we had, like, advanced humanity that had gone out to the stars and been sent back to the Stone Ages.
Uh-huh.
We then have all of that history removed, wiped out, and destroyed.
Uh-huh.
And that will be the same for every other intelligent species in the galaxy. Which means that when we look back, all that we see are what we see of the Earth currently.
So they would have to clean up a lot.
Well, depends how many intelligent species there are, I guess. But yeah.
No, even the humanity. If we had humanity, they have to clean. We had infrastructure. Did they
Well,
go
they'd
down and
already-
physically remove all infrastructure?
Well, don't forget, in the Humanity Forerunner War, they nuked us back to the Stone Ages.
there would be evidence of that in the fossil record.
Don't know how heavily they nuked us.
That's
They
the
nuked us
more
hard
they
enough-
nuke us, the
They
more
nuked us hard
record
enough
there
away
is.
to... No, it stripped away the top layer of the Earth. It crisped it.
That's not how we would be able to see that.
No,
we would be
it
able to
didn't,
see
and
that.
then they cleaned it with the gas,
Yeah.
and then it all absorbed into the atmosphere and floated
You know
away.
what would make way more sense? They
And
just
it became the moon.
They put us on a fucking different planet. That would make more sense. They put us on a new planet.
Agreed.
There would be evidence. Anyway.
So how are you going for
My-
time,
my
dude?
question-
Are you on time for this?
Oh, it's fine.
Okay,
My
we're good.
question I do have though
Yep.
is so this thing they dropped down just removed all physical matter.
Yep.
Why didn't they just fucking do that? Do they need to kill everything? Because honestly, killing everything doesn't do shit. They needed the biomass.
I think
can the flood take over a thing?
Specifically, I think I did somewhere was a little bit there. That's why I was like going off script. I believe they like put stuff into the atmosphere of planets that then once the Halo array activated, it would then activate on the things that got hit by the Halo array.
I see. Okay,
I
that makes
believe that's how it
That
happened.
makes more sense. I was going to say if they just
They
kill
didn't
everything,
just like acid rain every planet.
if they just kill everything with a EMP that kills your nervous system. The problem with that is the flood don't need you to be alive to take over your
No,
body.
exactly.
So like they'd have a lot of fucking more fuel.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
Well, don't forget they need intelligent life and they need cognitive ability for it to be
Oh,
worthwhile.
so everyone's dead. They can't take over.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So like one thing protection is to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
I believe they can still feed off of you to an extent, but it's not like the spread. They can't like take you over and spread you as another host, if that makes
there you
sense.
go.
Anyway, Matt, if you give us the next quote for the next era.
Creatures of the Covenant, the path is broad, and we shall walk it side by side.
Woohoo.
Wahoo.
After the halos were fired, the galaxy's surviving species were freed from the arcs and allowed to repopulate. Over time, one of these species, the San Shium, discovered abandoned Forerunner technology. San Shium, or in Latin, because Halos, humans use a lot of Latin, if you couldn't tell by Spartans and stuff. Perfidy vermis, meaning worms of treachery.
What a name.
Also known as prophets by many individuals and anyone that's played the game.
Are they good or bad? I can't tell. Backstabbing piece of shit worm, aka the
They
prophet.
are a near extinct sapient species native to a planet called Jankor Kon. Could someone please Google Halo Prophet and give me a description?
You got this guy.
I do have this. I always have this. Oh, the San Shayum.
Yeah.
Whoa!
San Shayum?
Whoa! That one's wearing the Pope jacket.
I know, right?
They're hot.
The prophet of drip. Good shit. Someone edited. There was the AI image of the Pope wearing a puffy jacket, dripped out, and someone's edited one of the prophets onto that
Nice.
edit of an AI. Anyway, the actual creature itself is. Listen, it's a treacherous worm. as an evil-looking worm.
Right.
I would describe it as sort of a cross between a human and like one of those naked mole rats. No nose, similar thing of flat face, but very pink. Eyes on the side, sort of goat almost, with a little tuft of beard chin, and lots of fucking gold adornment. These guys are blinged the fuck out. They got cool hats. They got big wreaths behind them. It's almost, dare I pull, a Council of Time Lords esque in
Very
terms
Yes.
of
Yeah.
ridiculous
Oh my God.
fucking head adornments.
They also kind of look like a gross version of Snoke from Star
Yeah,
Wars.
yeah, I get that.
Hey, I don't know who that is.
I know. Don't worry.
So,
Don't worry, dude.
upon they became one of the, as life restarted in the galaxy, these guys became one of the faster emerging intelligent species that kind of began to speed up, like technologically speaking, began to catch up a lot more to where things had been. And in doing this, they discovered all of this abandoned Forerunner technology, and they built an entire religion around it, shaping their entire society around the worship of these ancient artifacts. I kind of like them. I would say as well, they kind of have a very classic alien greyish, like wrinkly skin look to them.
Yeah.
They're pink. I don't like that.
They're a bit gross.
It's not even pink. They're just flesh colored.
Yep.
Also, I saw a thing about these because apparently guys used to be hot, or not.
We'll dive into things like that when we do individual
Okay, sure.
episodes. Like I say, I don't want us to get too sidetracked from the.
That's fair. Let's stay on track.
timeline.
Stay on track.
Yep. So they then took across the galaxy searching for more artifacts to enhance their religion and also technological growth because they were able to use these artifacts to learn stuff.
Yeah, you have to go to
like-
the,
it's
you
like-
have to go to the ruins.
Exactly. It's
Yeah,
like me and
yep.
Civ. You got to go
Yep.
find the ruins.
You do. Onga bunga. Atuye tuye tubiye, right?
Yeah, whatever you say,
No,
Chase.
stop.
You know, Civ music.
I know what you're referencing.
I turned off the music for most games.
Baba yet. Abiba.
Aviva yet. Fuck me, what cursed audio is this shit? I'm so sorry, anyone that's never played Civ and we just spoke complete gibberish to.
We're actually speaking the Halo language.
Yeah. During their search for more artifacts, the Sanshium encountered the Sangheli, another species with its own religious beliefs tied to Forerunner artifacts. But there was a catch. The Sangheli thought the artifacts were sacred and shouldn't be touched, while the Sangshium wanted to use them to advance their technology. Naturally, this led to war.
Nice.
Have a Google, because they're another name for the Sangheli. Will be very familiar to anyone that's ever touched Halo, and that is the Elites. If someone would like to Google Halo Elites, probably Matt, because Guy just did the Profits, and describe what an
I
elite
love
looks
these
like.
boys. They're so fucking annoying.
You know?
Elites.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they come in different colors. So they have a big. I don't know what they look like without their armor.
Oh, yeah, these guys.
They're like humanoid guys with long, strong legs with two. Their feet look like cows with two huge, like they're really big feet with two huge toes going down.
Yep.
Almost kind of what they're wearing with two high heels on their feet.
Yep.
Their heel is quite up. It's like kind of like a raptor in that sense, and they have big hands, sharp claws, and very big armor.
Yep.
They're very imposing.
and two of the best weapons in the game.
Yeah,
That's true. They
the-
have the energy sword and the plasma rifle.
And I forget what their face
Is that
look like. But
is the
it's
gem
gross.
thing
It's
the
like
plasma
bug.
rifle?
Yeah. Oh, that's a needle.
I
That's a
love needles.
needle. Yeah.
I was my
They have a
spray
gross
and pray.
bug-like. Looking without the armor, they have a gross bug-like face with like a mouth that opens four ways.
Yeah.
Like what are they called?
Predator.
Predatory.
I literally forgot
No, what are they called? They're like
mandibles.
Mandibles.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
guy. That's
yeah.
mandibles.
Yeah.
need
So
that.
this war lasted nearly a century and almost wiped out both species.
Excellent.
Realizing their mutual destruction was imminent, they joined forces instead. This alliance became called the Covenant, which would grow into a galaxy-spanning empire over the next thousands of years, adding more and more species into the fold. The Covenant are, of course, the main enemies of the Halo franchise.
Yes.
However, as the Covenant grows, we see the Prophets are more and more the ones in charge, and they kind of lead this force. To get really specific, before anyone goes to roast me about Halo lore, there are two very distinct streams of Covenant. There are those, you can simplify it better and to stop gibbering on, the elites and the prophets are kind of two different arms of the Covenant to an extent, and you can see that divide as you play more of the Halo games. But the prophets kind of take on more of they inspire more of like a religious following, if you will.
I mean, it's in the name, but also they look like they should be sitting in chairs.
Yeah.
They look like they belong in a Senate.
Yeah.
Whereas the elites look like they belong in a battlefield.
Exactly.
Maybe that's just their vibe as well, because that's what they do. But like, also that's where they belong.
So meanwhile, what's humanity up to in all this time, you ask?
We're
Banging rocks together.
We're recovering.
So,
Baby.
the colonial era and insurrection.
Fuck me.
Meanwhile, while all of this is happening over these thousands of years, we have, that old thing, human history happening, and humanity continues to forge its own path. Imagine that everything that's happened should happen, and then we get to 2362. Common era.
So we just jump the entirety of human history.
Yep. Well, the whole of human history is when the Covenant's out there developing and becoming a galaxy-spanning empire.
It is very common in these worlds to just do like a humanity history to do it in a couple hundred years in our future. Things will start happening.
That's
Exactly.
fair, actually. I did the same thing for... Give me a sec.
Mass Effect?
Nope.
Well, it is the same.
Well,
in that
yes,
way.
again. No, but my one was Titanfall.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
Please, sci-fi world.
So by 2362, humanity discovers their first faster-than-light travel and begins colonizing other planets. We go back to the colonial era.
We're back, baby.
And there's no Forerunners to stop us. Where are the Forerunners?
Dead.
Wiped themselves out.
Did they actually?
Yeah.
How did they do that? I missed that part.
Wait.
They used the Halo arrays. It wiped themselves out.
Wait,
No, hold on. Okay, no.
You missed that.
I mixed up the precursors.
They said they protected their own planets.
They were able to shield some, but
But what about the Arks? Who was
Did not put
riding
themselves
the
in the
Arks?
arcs.
a lot of that was automated.
Why?
Why?
Why were they not on there? They were able to make this thing.
You know what these fuckers were probably so smart. They're like, our brainwaves are so intelligent. We must wipe ourselves out, or if only one flood gets to one of our brains, they will be unstoppable.
Yeah.
Counterpoint, they were so stupid, they're like, we need to protect all these lesser races than us. We need to do this. And now, activate the Halo array. One guy in the back of the room. Wait, what about us?
My
They just didn't think about it.
asterisk to be expanded in another episode, possibly. The law is that they, like as I said, this was it was their desperate decision to sacrifice themselves and the rest of the intelligent life in the universe to free themselves as a flood.
They did kill a lot of us.
It
But they saved us.
set that
Why did they
way,
save themselves?
but then in some future Halo games, we start to see like a forerunner that like emerges from stasis or whatever.
So they reduced their population like to basically extinct.
Yeah.
They reduced them down to like minimal. So the flood didn't have a lot of fuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
They did nearly extinct themselves. I think that this is technically, I could be wrong here. I believe that it's a case of they wrote the law to be that the Forerunners extinct themselves with the Halo arrays, and then decided to retcon it and have some survivors. So that
would
they
make
could,
sense.
That's kind of the vibe. that I
Even
get.
if they like wasn't the main part, someone would go like, "I'm putting myself on a stage."
Yeah, 100%.
Well, yeah, no,
100%.
that's my thought is like maybe the Arks were filled with the lesser races. They then had those automated to just immediately deposit after the Halo arrays went off.
Yeah.
But they put themselves in stasis for like 1,000 years or something, some extra amount of time. So that way they emerge later, but they're not entirely gone.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll continue on with the humans. So, in this colonial era, we saw the rise of major human settlements on distant planets from Earth, such as Harvest and perhaps one of the most famous worlds in the Halo franchise, Reach.
Nice. Reach City.
Reach.
Halo Reach. Oh, what a game!
What a game. What a fucking
I spent
game.
so much of my childhood playing that game.
Oh, it's such a fucking good game.
Oh.
The campaign of that game,
Oh my
I'll
god!
have to give it a go sometime.
Objective
fun.
survive.
Genuinely, really cool. Really, really good game. It took me a very long time to play any of the Halo games other than just like goofing around at a friend's house. Very enjoyable.
Okay, fair enough.
Mm.
You guys have to play Outer Wilds.
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah.
As humanity spread, political tensions rose. Outer colonies began to feel oppressed by Earth's central government, the United Nations Space Command. Why you guys? What are you doing?
Nothing.
Why are you
He's showing
thirst
me
trapping?
cheeked up elites.
Sorry.
Stop. Okay, there are so many cheeked up elites on the internet. I hate it. The amount of memes, like the amount of reels I get that are just like elites being goofy.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I found the photo.
So it is a natural thing that sometimes you Google a species from a law and there's just thirst.
And there's just tits.
There's just tits and ass.
I also found that one of the prophets was involved in a major sexual scandal.
Continuing on with the law.
Yeah, fuck me. Halo's a weird franchise, man. So the outer colonies begun to feel oppressed by Earth's central government, the United Nations Space Command, or UNSC.
Colonies not feeling representation.
What's fucking new?
This led to the insurrection, a conflict between the outer colonies and the UNSC. In an attempt to quash the rebellion, the UNSC, fuck
Changes
me,
every time you say it.
I know, the UNSC authorized the Spartan program. Led by Dr. Halsey, this controversial project involved kidnapping children and turning them into super soldiers to serve the government's interest. So, what is a Spartan?
Just skate over that one.
Take
Spartans
the kids and
are
make them super weapons.
bioengineered super soldiers that go through many iterations in Halo's history. We get the original Spartan 1, also known as Project Orion. We get Spartan 2. We get Spartan 3s, which, for clarity, Master Chief is a Spartan 2. And the Spartans that you play as in Halo Reach are part of Spartan 3. And then finally, in the newer games, we get the program Spartan 4, which is a more advanced version of Spartans. But Master Chief is still just Spartan 2.
But Master Chief doesn't need it. Master Chief's Master Chief. He's on another level.
Spartan 2 and Spartan 3s are the ones of children that have been bioengineered. The others are soldiers that volunteer.
Wait, so 1 and 4 are volunteers, and 2 and 3 they just tried kids for a bit.
No,
Yep.
1 and 2, you said, right?
So 2 and 3 are children.
What happened to 1? They're like, nah, it's not good enough.
Nah, we don't. These guys are too weak. We haven't got them. We need to engineer them from kids.
The way it's looking, we'll have our own episode on Spartans, so I'll save it for that.
They lost their morals and they found them again.
Yep.
Also, call me crazy, sci-fi witches.
What? Oh, okay.
Witcher.
No fair.
It's like The Witcher.
Yeah, yeah.
The Witcher,
Witches. Sorry, I thought you said witches.
Witchers.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
Or is this like, or is a Witcher's like a fantasy
Yeah.
Spartan?
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, that's why I wrote a weird sentence here in the script. I said, to quote my script, this is, in essence, you, Master Chief, meaning this is the characters that you play as in the games. You are playing a Spartan, you're playing a super soldier. Somewhat cyborg soldiers with heavily advanced weaponry, you get the idea. Gives you a good reason to have a character that is strong and better than the average human Marines and can be like the main character in a video game.
Big jump.
Yes, and big jump. Yeah, fuck. The jump in Halo 1 especially is crazy.
I remember that shit.
Yep. So that leads us to the next chunk as the Spartans are deployed against other humans to rein in the insurrection and like bring the rebellion under control.
Deploying a military force against one's own population.
Who would do that?
Who would do that?
Yep. That is important to remember that humanity developed the Spartans to fight humans.
Interesting. Okay.
But then, in the year 2525, Common Era, the Covenant came into direct contact with humanity. And this brings us to the Great Human Covenant War.
Were they not aware of humans?
A moral deus machina coming to give us a good reason to have these super soldiers around.
Exactly.
It's like if they created Captain America to oppress people, and then the Nazis started World War II, and they're like, "Oh, thank fuck."
Yep, literally.
Looking back at this, it's a good thing we got these guys.
Good thing we
around.
made him. Yeah, 100%.
Fuck.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. So it started on the colony that I mentioned before, colony of Harvest. This was the very first point of Covenant meeting humans. There is an old novel, because Halo is spread across like books and games and everything, and I think it was called like Contact Harvest, I believe was the name of the book, and it was like the story of the first interaction of humans / marine soldiers and aliens of the Covenant.
Hey, why is it called Harvest?
It's just the name of the planet.
But why is it called Harvest? Is it just that is it named for something? Is
I think pretty sure it's a farming colony.
so they met the aliens in a cornfield. Got you.
What is it? Signs?
Got you, son of a bitch. Roswell, baby, we're back.
Did they make like crop circles? The Covenant.
I actually don't know. Maybe.
That'd be kind of
Who cares, Matthew? Continue.
So the Covenant landed in search of Forerunner artifacts. Of course, they just were there for that, and the humans were like, alien.
yeah, me too.
When a misunderstanding turned violent, the Covenant destroyed Harvest through orbital bombardment, a process they called glassing.
Pardon? Why?
Yeah.
Glassing a planet. They just
Glassing a
orbital
planet.
bombardment it till it's just like ruined.
Is that I know it's a term in a lot of sci-fi, or like glassing a planet is a term. It's basically like you eradicated it. You basically turn because glassing is like you heat it up. I think it happens in real life. If you drop bomb on like sand, it can turn the sand to glass.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's kind of the
they
idea.
glass the entire planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's also to reference smashing a glass on someone's head.
really.
You glassed someone. Someone got glassed at a club the other night.
I've never heard that term.
Oh, really? That's yeah.
No.
Glass.
I was wanting glassing.
Glassing is never a good thing.
No. Glass a motherfucker.
You never want to be glassed.
Yeah. Anyway, this would mark the beginning of the Great Human Covenant War, a conflict that would last nearly 30 years. Humanity was pushed to the brink, with countless colonies falling to the Covenant's superior technology and numbers. The war reached one of its big climaxes in the year 2552, when the Covenant attacked Reach, humanity's central military hub in the outer colonies. The invasion was catastrophic, wiping out pretty much all of the UNCS's forces, including many of the Spartan forces. But one ship, the Pillar of Autumn, managed to escape. After a desperate slip space jump, it arrived at a mysterious ring world, a Halo.
Oh no.
And that brings us through the prequel game Halo Reach, which plays through the fall of Reach and the escape of the Pillar of Autumn, which is the very end of Halo Reach, and takes us into the start of the first Halo game, where the Pillar of Autumn is a ship running away from the Covenant that arrives and crash lands on the Halo ring.
Oh, interesting. I never realized at the start of Halo 1 is like you're already most of the way through the war, and the war's going terribly.
Yep. Humans. That's why the humans are getting so desperately fucked.
Yeah.
It's also because they've just lost their big main military base in Reach.
That makes it's like, to be fair, very unfair. They got a head start, and the humans are way behind. It's really hard to come back from that kind of head start.
It is.
Unless you bioengineer some kids.
So the elites are now okay with using the Forerunner artifacts because they weren't okay with that before. I can't be convinced.
We'll talk about the Covenant more in another episode,
sure,
I think,
sure.
because we're pretty much at the end of this one.
Sure.
So what followed from here were the events of the original Halo trilogy. The Master Chief, who is the last Spartan on board the ship, the Pillar of Autumn, who escapes the planet in cryosleep, and his AI companion Cortana uncovered the secrets of the Halo rings and destroy one of them to prevent its activation, and eventually return to Earth just in time for a Covenant invasion. And that's kind of where the war goes from there, with the Covenant fighting humanity in Earth and etc. I won't do much more timeline-y stuff forward from there, because then we just get into timelining the games, which we don't necessarily want to do. But that's the background and like build up of the Halo universe.
Interesting. I think the humans and the Covenant eventually like make up and kiss, right?
Well,
Maybe spoilers, but I think they kiss.
That's Mass Effect, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
eventually, the one last thing I will throw in because it adds interest, and it could effectively be the last sentence of this page. The Prophet leaders eventually betrayed their elite allies, leading the elites to join forces with humanity, and together they both fought back against the Covenant.
There we go. That's why the elites and the humans kiss.
Yeah.
Because I think it's in Halo 3 that happened. I think because
Yeah,
there's that awesome duo mission with the being an elite and
Yeah, because you get to play as the Arbiter, I think his name is, who's one of the elites. That's
it's sick.
Yeah. But yeah, that's an introduction to Halo, guys.
Wahoo!
Wahoo!
Listen, the precursors sounded pretty cool. I think you're not my real dad, Forerunners. The precursors, my dad.
Yep.
Step species.
I think it's also particularly interesting how the Forerunners named themselves who they are and like pushed humanity back, because You do also eventually uncover that the Forerunners believed humanity would be the next bearers of the mantle of responsibility.
I only did this to make sure that you'd end up stronger.
Which is really interesting because they wiped out humanity nearly.
Yeah.
So,
This hurt you more than it hurt me more than it hurt you. Sorry.
yeah, believe me, I
slipped
wish
there
I
for a
wasn't
second.
doing this. Yeah.
I must throw my child into a ravine.
Fuck.
Yep.
Only to make them stronger.
Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah,
I like
that's-
the covering up of where the precursors came from because all we know about them is from the Forerunners. Great storytelling, wonderful. No need to detail their history because we don't know it. The only people who knew it were their kids, and they didn't even know that much because they killed them. Delightful.
Yeah.
And the ring spheres and stuff being around. What is it with fucking space things and having ancient alien artifacts out in space? It's like humans like finding artifacts, and we've done all of Earth, and now we need to find stuff in space.
Yeah,
It's also ominous.
it is.
It is a nice like mystery and ominous when you see a wreckage of an ancient species. And you're like, what happened to them? It's a very good mystery, but also like it also leaves a little bit of dread. And what happened to them? You know?
Yeah. Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, you can support us on our Patreon.
No.
I've been trying to tread ground so Matt can get Patreon up.
Patreon? I have it up already.
If you
What do
enjoyed this
mean?
episode and want to hear more about ancient space civilizations that have mysterious things, listen to our recent episode on Mass Effect. Or if you want to go older space episodes than that, we've got Sonic the Hedgehog technically goes to space.
we got Titanfall.
He's not wrong.
Titanfall. There's a lot of MySpace episodes. We got a Star Wars episode about the Force.
MySpace.
MySpace.
We have a MySpace episode?
Yeah, who's his name? Tom from MySpace? What a
Yeah.
G. What a go.
We got a whole 6-hour episode on him,
yeah.
I think.
But thank you to our lawkeepers.
Yes, thank you so much to our loyal lawkeepers. Our prestige lawkeepers, Bong the Bard, Josh from Maine, and Shadow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you to our novice lawkeepers, Blitz Bandit, Dan Dubs, Josh from Norway, Josh 2. I keep saying Josh from Norway. It's Jacob from Norway.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jacob. Josh 2. It's because there's too many Joshes. Sorry, Josh. Loading Name, Luke Newcomb, The Recluse, Tiani Wilson, and Uranian Games. Thank you so much. And if you want to join our community, you do not have to pay. You can join our Discord where we talk shit and talk about games, talk about lore, just talk about stuff. And it's very fun.
And otherwise, spread the podcast to your friends who you think would be into it. And
Oh, yeah.
take the burden of that embarrassment.
It is that. If you do want to join our Patreon, you do get stuff like scripts, extra lore tidbits, have mini-sodes, and with a high enough tier, you can request an episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much to them. And if you enjoy this episode, the number of stars you rate us is the number of alien races you get to have in your covenant.
The number of stars you give us is the number of humanity, your race, whatever you are, accelerating artifacts left behind by another race that mysteriously disappeared, that definitely will not bring doom upon your species.
The number of stars you rate us is the number of Halo rings you find and get under your control.
God damn it.
Wait, why do you want them? Do you need Halo rings?
Because you can kill everyone.
That's not a good thing.
Haha, don't worry about it.
What?
Haha, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about
They're
it.
pretty sick to live there. To live there would be pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, come
And
live on my Halo ring, Matt. Trust me.
How does the sun set on a Halo ring?
It's pointed
The
towards...
sun never sets on the Halo ring.
Depends on which
Empire.
way it's oriented. Otherwise, it sets normally.
They do orbit.
They spin. Okay. I
guess.
I guess
I
that makes. They spin like that way.
Yeah, I guess maybe they're a corkscrew. Woo!
They spin like they look like a reward in a video game, spinning a coin on the ground.
Yeah.
But if you, as your Halo spins to death, as the sun sets on your Halo Empire, good night.
And as the sun rises upon the new age of the caveman humans sent back to their roots by some terrible fucking alien species that wants us to end up as the superior race, but also wants to challenge us, and you don't know any of this because you're a caveman, you walk out of the cave and I say good morning to you.
And as you and your fellow Forerunners take one last look into each other's eyes after a last kiss and go to push the button to activate the Halo rings and wipe out all life in the universe, say, Sayonara, Galaxy.
Sayonara, Galaxy.
Sayonara, Halo.
Sayonara, Halo. Thank you for listening to Living by the Law. If you enjoyed our podcast, please leave a review, tell your friends, and if you're feeling extra generous, become an official lawkeeper by joining our Patreon today. Follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at Living by the Law. All links are in the description, and thank you in advance. We have been, and always will be, living by the law. Thank you for your company, and good night.